When Mari returned to the hermitage, she saw that her children were not there. Instead, she saw Vesantara sitting in silence. She set down the basket of fruit and sat down near him. She asked, "Sir, why do you sit in silence? The dream I had last night keeps coming back to me. I fear something evil has happened to the children." Vesantara saw her pain and felt compassion for her. He did not know what to say to assuage her. Vesantara did not answer. Mari then said, "My lord, where are the children? I can't see them, and I'm very worried." And to this, Vesantara gave no answer. Mari became very stressed and scared. She'd never seen Vesantara like this and was overcome with fear. She immediately searched the surrounding areas of the hermitage. She called out to her children. "Ganha! Charlie! Where are you? Come to me! Your mother calls to you!" She heard no reply. Mari ran into the nearby forest and frantically searched for her children. "Ganha! Charlie! Where are you? Please answer me!" She searched everywhere she could think of. She became tired, but could not rest knowing that her children might not be safe. She kept searching until sunrise. "Where are you?" She returned to Vesantara and told him that she was not able to find the children. Vesantara felt a wave of distress wash over him and remained silent. Mari then said, "My lord, I'm sure they must be dead, but I do not know how they died. What should I do?" Vesantara was no longer able to remain silent. He was overcome by Mari's suffering and told her, "While you were in the forest, searching for food, a Brahmin came and asked for our children, and I gave them to him." "My lord, why did you not tell me earlier in the night? Why did you let me go about all night in distress?" "Mari, I did not speak because I feared to cause you pain. An old Brahmin begged me, and I fought to overcome my attachment in order to give the children away. It was by far the hardest thing I've ever done. I feared that had you known, it would have caused you immense pain and suffering, and I could not bear to do that to you." Mari paused for a moment and absorbed this information she was given. Then she said, "My lord, I rejoice with what you did. There is no greater gift that can be given than one's own children. By giving, you've overcome your attachment. My lord, I anumodana, rejoice sincerely with your great dana. You did what only great beings could do. I know in my heart that you are now closer than ever to becoming a fully enlightened Buddha. I am happy to have helped you on your journey. May you continue doing whatever it takes until the goal is achieved." Vesantara heard her words and felt relieved. He felt lucky to have such a supportive and sacrificing partner. Over many lives, she'd always been quick to sacrifice herself in any way necessary to help him cultivate his paramitas in order to become a future Buddha. She was always by his side during his hardest times. He greatly appreciated her. Seeing the situation and hearing their discussion, Saka decided to intervene. He came down to earth in the form of a Brahmin and visited Vesantara and Mari. Vesantara asked him, "Brahmin, why have you come all this way to our forest? Is there something you need? The Brahmin then said, My lord, I have traveled this great distance to ask you for your wife, Mari. Vesantara sat silent for a second and thought, Just yesterday, I gave away my 2 children whom I loved more than anything. Now today, I am being asked for my wife? Am I to be alone in the forest? Have the gods come to test my limits? How can I do this? However, he overcame his initial shock and composed himself. I have strived for many lives to cultivate the qualities needed to become a Buddha. Only by becoming a Buddha can I achieve total enlightenment and lead others away from the rounds of suffering and rebirth. If I must give away Mari, then I will do it. Vesantara stood up and called Mari to him. He told the Brahmin he was willing to give Mari to him. Mari did not frown or show any displeasure. Instead, she went and stood next to the Brahmin. Vesantara asked her, Mari, I already gave our children away to another, and now I give you to this Brahmin. Yet when I look upon your face, I see no hatred, no anger, and no fear. How can this be? My lord, I have always been yours, whether in this life or others. My life is yours. You are my goal. Whoever you decide to give me to, whether to be his wife, to sell, or to kill, I am willing to do whatever you say. My goal has always been to support you and help you reach Buddhahood. I will never turn back. After hearing this, Saka, in the form of the Brahmin, praised Vesantara for his ability to give, and Mari for her steadfastness in supporting her husband. Saka then gave Mari back to Vesantara and said, Great being, I now give Mari back to you. There has never been a more well-matched pair. No 2 beings have ever lived a more harmonious life. Mari was given to me, and therefore is mine. I leave her with you in your care. Since she is mine, you cannot give her to another. And then, Saka ascended back to the heavens. Chuchaka took the children on a long journey. When the sun went down, Chuchaka would tie the children to a tree and leave them there. He would then climb up to the top to avoid the wild beasts. The children, however, never came to any harm. The Dewas looked after them. The Dewas would come down in a form similar to Vesantara and Mari. They would free the children and feed them. They would wash their cuts and bruises. And then when it was time to sleep, the children slept comfortably on the laps of the Dewas. At dawn, the Dewas would retie the bonds and leave before Chuchaka would wake up. In addition, the Dewas guided Chuchaka away from the path to Kalinga, and instead led him towards the city of Jetutara. That night, Saka entered the dreams of King Sanchaya to alert him that his 2 grandchildren were nearby. Lost, Chuchaka found himself wandering towards a large city's walls. The guards saw him and recognized young Prince Chali and Princess Kanhachi Na, and ordered Chuchaka to stop. The king commanded that they be brought inside. Once inside, Chuchaka was scared for his life. He had treated the young prince and princess as his slaves, and he had abused them for many days. He was afraid the king, their grandfather, would demand his life. The king said, "How is it that you have my grandchildren tied up and abused as slaves?" Chuchaka quickly answered, "My lord, I was given these 2 children by Vesantara himself. I did nothing wrong. King Sanchaya, respecting Vesantara's choices, commanded that a large treasure worthy of buying back Prince Chali and Princess Kanhachina be brought and given to Chuchaka. In addition, Chuchaka was given a large palace to live in. Chuchaka was delighted to be paid so handsomely and had his riches carted off to the new palace. The young prince and princess ran and embraced their grandfather. King Sanchaya asked Chali to tell him everything that happened. Prince Chali told his grandfather about all the hardships they'd experienced while living in the forest. Prince Chali also said, "It is because of you that we were in that situation. He was your son, and it is customary for the father to love and protect his son. Yet you had us sent away." King Sanchaya was overcome with sadness and accepted his fault. He ordered that a large contingent be prepared to invite Vesantara and Mari back to the palace. As for Chuchaka, he was invited to a large feast and given all the choicest foods a heart could desire. He had never seen such food in his life and felt gluttony overcome him. He ate and ate and ate. He ignored the pain in his stomach and kept stuffing food into his mouth. All he could think about was how he might not ever get to experience a feast like this again. So he kept eating. Finally, he could eat no more and felt like his stomach would burst. He fell out of his chair and could no longer breathe. Eventually, he died due to his own gluttony. King Sanchaya, along with his queen and their royal grandchildren, traced the path back to Vesantara's hermitage. When they arrived, the children quickly ran and embraced their parents. The whole royal family was reunited. Not a tear was kept in reserve. Vesantara was invited to come back, and the people received him with love and adoration. Vesantara was then recrowned as king in a grand ceremony. King Vesantara opened up donation centers all over town and gave freely to all the people. At this time, Saka opened up the skies and a miraculous rain fell upon the earth. Those who wanted to get wet got wet. Those who wanted to remain dry remained dry. After he had ended the Vesantara Chataka, he identified the birth. Chuchaka was reborn as Tewatat. Amitatapana was reborn as Jincha. Jetaputta the hunter was reborn as Chana. Achata the ascetic was reborn as Sariputta. Saka was reborn as Anuruddha. King Sanchaya was reborn as King Surodhana. Queen Pusati was reborn as Mahamaya. Mari was reborn as Yasodhara, Rahula's mother. Chali was reborn as Rahula. Kanhachina was reborn as Upalawana. The rest of the people were reborn as the followers of the Buddha. King Vesantara was none other than the Buddha. What did you learn from this story? We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads.